my term as governor, I accepted a position in Boston at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. During my time at Harvard, I walked hundreds of miles, absent having a car back east. I used the trains to travel up and down the eastern seaboard for business and pleasure. I definitely knew America's East Coast in far more detail than when I arrived in early 1995. I could name all the buildings in Harvard Yard. I knew the train schedule to New York City, Washington, D.C., and Rutgers University in New Jersey. But I also knew when every United Airlines flight left Logan Airport in Boston and took off for Portland, Oregon. I always wanted to go home. So, finally, after 4 years plus, I was going home. I was leaving Harvard as the director of the Kennedy School, state and local executive programs. Just before my final week's work at the Kennedy School, the school threw a very special late afternoon retirement party in my honor. Several speakers extolled my contributions to the school and my dedication to the JFK mission. As the going-away reception drew toward a close, the final speaker made his comments. Those remarks would give me a story worth retelling for years after I returned to Oregon. The speaker, a faculty member I had worked closely with for all 4 years, made reference to my return to Orygone, a pronunciation I had corrected with him over and over. For one last time, I corrected the Harvard professor. Oregon is pronounced Oregon, I said. He stopped, he looked at me, and he seriously responded, Are you sure about that? Finally, after 4 years, my frustration came out. Yes, I'm sure. My family came on the Oregon Trail. I was born in the state, and I served as governor. I'm pretty damn sure. Well, the audience took great pleasure in what they thought was a joke between us. However, at home in Oregon, my fellow Orygonians loved the story. After years of hearing radio announcers, television newscasters, and visiting speakers mispronounce our state's name, I knew at that moment it was indeed time to go home. I had visited historic sites on the East Coast and felt the thrill of standing where George Washington, Paul Revere, Benjamin Franklin, and Betsy Ross had once stood. Now I would fly home to Oregon and marvel at the views of Mount Hood and the Columbia River that had greeted Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea. I had traveled the continent in a journey of discovery, much as my ancestors had done so long ago as they traveled the Oregon Trail. Thank you.